The great palace of Xeris gleamed in the triple sunlight, its crystal spires refracting rainbows onto the marble courtyards. Jon Mason had never seen anything like it. Back on Earth, the most extravagant building he'd been in was a Vegas hotel lobby. Here, though, even the air smelled like luxury, sweet floral scents and a faint electric hum, as if the walls themselves were alive. Jon was not here as a tourist. He was an intercultural envoy, which, in practice, meant he'd been assigned to answer awkward questions from alien royalty, try not to cause diplomatic incidents, and generally smile a lot while feeling like an imposter. And that's exactly what he was doing now. Except the alien royalty in question was staring at him like he'd just announced Earth could turn lead into gold. "You mate all year?" Princess Vera said slowly, as if making sure she'd heard correctly. Jon blinked. Yes? Humans don't have a specific season for it. Why? Vera's jaw dropped. Her long, luminescent hair caught the sunlight, making it shimmer like strands of molten silver. That is impossible. Even the most fertile cycles among our kind last only 12 rotations per year. How do you... No, wait. Are you telling me that if a human desired, they could... Yes. Jon interrupted quickly before she asked something that would make the guard snicker. It's the biological thing. Our species evolved that way. The princess leaned forward on her crystalline throne, eyes wide with scientific curiosity. Then your mating bonds must be incredibly strong. Jon coughed, tugging at the collar of his envoy's uniform. Depends on the people, I guess. It was supposed to be a simple cultural exchange, but he could feel the weight of the guard stairs and the faint sound of someone stifling a laugh behind him. He was suddenly aware that in the alien language, mate didn't just mean reproduction. It also carried heavy connotations of lifelong partnership. Great, he thought. I basically told her that humans are perpetually available for eternal commitment on demand. Later, after the formal session ended, Vera requested a private tour of the human quarters, an unusual request for an alien princess. Jon suspected it had less to do with diplomacy and more to do with her insatiable curiosity. Her long robes trailed across the polished floor as she walked beside him. You must understand, in my culture, mating is sacred. The moment our cycles begin, it is a frenzy of courtship, declarations, and competition. Then, nothing for the rest of the year. To be always capable. Humans must experience love in a way we cannot imagine. Jon smiled faintly. It's not all romance and roses. Being able to mate year-round doesn't mean we're always falling in love. Some people don't at all. Vera tilted her head, studying him. And you? Do you fall in love easily? His step faltered. That's a personal question. I am a princess, she said simply, as though that answered everything. They reached a small garden that had been grown for human envoys, tomatoes, basil, sunflowers, and a small bench. She sat, motioning for him to do the same. You're avoiding my question, she said with a mischievous tilt to her lips. Is it because you've already chosen a mate? Jon laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. No, just haven't met the right person. Her silver brows drew together. How could that be? You have an entire cycle-less existence to find them. It's not about time, Jon said softly. It's about connection. Vera's gaze lingered on him, unreadable. Perhaps your people are more selective than I thought. The next day, Jon learned that the princess had been reading Earth literature late into the night. She greeted him in the council hall, holding a worn digital tablet. Humans write poems for their mates, she asked breathlessly. And songs? And long letters describing feelings. Jon chuckled. Yeah, some do. She leaned closer. I want to understand. Show me. So he recited one, not Shakespeare, not Byron, but a simple Earth poem he'd always liked. It wasn't even romantic in the traditional sense. It was about longing for someone's presence on a rainy day. Vera listened as though every word was a gem. When he finished, she whispered, Your species turns the act of desiring into art. We have nothing like this. That evening, as they walked the palace balcony, the alien skies ablaze with 3 suns setting at once, she asked a question that made Jon stop dead in his tracks. If humans could mate at any time, could you choose now? Jon blinked. That's not exactly how it works. But if you wished it, she pressed, her voice low, could you begin? He hesitated. The guard at the far end of the balcony looked politely away, pretending to be fascinated by the clouds. Jon could feel his heart thudding. You mean with you? Her eyes glimmered. I am merely curious. Sure, Jon thought, and the sun merely produces a little light. I think. he said carefully, "that humans and your kind might need more than curiosity for something like that." "Then teach me," she said. Over the next weeks, Vera's fascination with human biology and culture turned into something gentler, more personal. She no longer asked about year-round mating in the council chambers. Instead, she asked about favorite foods, silly childhood memories, what Earth rain smelled like. Jon found himself telling her everything. How he used to catch lightning bugs as a kid, how he learned to cook spaghetti from his grandmother, how snow made the whole world quiet. And Vera, in turn, told him things no alien had ever shared publicly. How as a child she had wandered into the temple gardens and fallen asleep under the moonstone tree. How her people measured time not just by suns and moons, but by the flowering of rare blooms that only open once every dozen years. How she feared the arranged bonding her family had planned for her after her next cycle. "Do you love him?" Jon had asked one night. "I have never met him," she admitted, voice trembling. "He is a political choice. Not my choice." Jon didn't say anything, but he didn't need to. The look in her eyes was enough. The turning point came during a diplomatic dinner. An older alien noble had been questioning Jon aggressively, implying that humans were too biologically volatile to form lasting partnerships. Vera cut in sharply. "Humans are capable of loyalty beyond cycles. Their bonds are choice, renewed daily, not a mere product of biology." The table went quiet. Jon stared at her. She met his eyes briefly, and something unspoken passed between them. On the last day of Jon's envoy term, Vera met him at the garden bench. The air was cool, the sun's just beginning to rise. "My ship leaves tomorrow," he said quietly. "I know." They sat in silence for a long time. Finally, she turned to him. "You have taught me much about your people, Jon Mason, but there is one thing I still do not know." "What's that?" Her voice was almost a whisper. "If you could choose, would you?" His throat went dry. "Choose what?" "To begin," she said, echoing her words from weeks ago. Jon swallowed. The logical part of his mind screamed about interplanetary politics, cultural boundaries, the impossibility of it all. But her eyes were bright, hopeful, and terrified all at once. He leaned in, just close enough that his words were only for her. "Yes." She drew in a sharp breath. Not the shock gas in their first meeting, but something warmer, like the sound of a door opening. And in that moment, with the suns casting gold across her silver hair, Jon realized that year-round had never been the point. The point was choosing, no matter the season.